Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's the Fairy Godchild checking back in again. So today I have a few messages for you guys. I was actually up this morning scrolling on Instagram. I usually don't do that like first thing when I wake up, but I did this morning and I came across a post about Joel Osteen, the pastor of the church, that's known all over the world. He broadcasts all over TV. I'm pretty sure y'all know who I'm talking about or whatever, but I saw that post and it was talking about how like some years back there was some kind of burglary or some missing money from the church that just disappeared or whatever, and apparently a plumber or a janitor found this missing money in the walls of the church. I guess they found like a little loose brick or some shit and discovered all these envelopes of money hidden in the walls of the church. So I didn't even, look deeper into the story. I was just like, I just clicked off and was like, that's my cue to get my ass up and get on here and talk about some shit, because remember I told you guys I have a bunch of prophetic messages that God told me to wait to tell you guys, right? So there's one message that may scare a couple of you guys, but it's not for you to be afraid of. It's just for you to be aware, okay? Because honestly, anything that is being torn down or ripped from you is so that something better can come in, right? So, and that can come in the form of world events as well. So I'm going to get into that. It's going to probably be in the next video, because he told me to release this video between the 3rd and the 5th of December, right? So I was going to wait till tomorrow on my birthday, Sunday, to release the video. But when I saw that, I was like, that's my cue. Gotta go. So today though, in this video, I just want to like share my story with you guys. I want you guys to get to know me on a deeper level, and just know that I'm not on here just giving you guys messages. A lot of the messages that I give you guys, I'm speaking from my own experience as well. I'm young. I'm only 23 years old, guys, and I turn 24 tomorrow. Whoop whoop, Sag gang, okay? Happy birthday, Sagittarius. Okay, but I got up this morning and the song that was on my spirit was Ways by Janae Aiko. Right? I love, 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 love Janae Aiko. Oh, she has helped me in my healing journey for many, many years. Like, I've been listening to her since I was like 15, and she still hits home with all of her music to this day. So I really love her. And I was happy that that song was on my spirit this morning, because I heard the angels this morning telling me, Kalia, you have to keep going. You have to keep going. Talking about, posting on YouTube and getting these videos out, because I really do read you guys' comments, and I really do appreciate the feedback you guys leave. Like, it really does touch my heart. And I be tearing up and ready to cry. Look, just thinking about it, my eyes getting watery. Let me stop. But I'm really happy that I'm able to reach you guys in a profound way and really give you what you need. Before I turn on this camera, that's what I'm asking God to do. Give me the right words to say, for the people who are going to cross this video, because I'm not just here to tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you the things that may be the hard truth. Sometimes I come on here and I'm a lot softer, and, I'm holding back a little bit. Not holding back, but I have my days where I get on here and it's like really calm, really sweet, very gentle. And then if it's a different type of video or different message that needs to come off that's more urgent, I'm like rah rah cussing every other word, you know what I'm saying? But for me personally, I have different spirit guides, okay? And I have a spirit guide that's very soft and sweet and gentle. And then I have the one that's gutta gutta, okay? They don't play, okay? And depending on the message and what's needed, that's what will come through to me. And for a long time I did struggle with that when I first started my channel, and I was like, oh my gosh, I cussed so much in that video, but it was needed. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't control the energy that comes through me when I'm delivering a message. You know what I'm saying? Because just because it may not resonate with one person and they may be offended by how I say or what I say, doesn't mean that it's going to be that way for the next person. It might be that the person who needs it most needs it to be delivered in that way. Needs it to be conveyed in that way so that they get it and that they can apply it to their life. Okay? Because everybody learns different. You know what I'm saying? So for me personally, I came up in a household of women that was very rah-rah, okay? Like cuss like a sailor kind of thing, like speak their mind. That is what I grew up around, and I try not to take on that persona because I want to be better than that. But I realized how strong it's made me, honestly. It's taught me how to defend myself. It's taught me how to speak up for myself when it's needed. You know what I'm saying? But along this spiritual journey that I've been on, I've learned how to balance those energies out. I realized that those women in my life were almost too in touch with their masculine energy, okay? And that can be very intimidating. And sometimes you can be in that masculine energy and it just be the wrong place, wrong person, wrong time. You know what I'm saying? And it has you looking a certain way that you don't want people to look at you like. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're women at the end of the day. You really want to be in that feminine energy. And that's something that I had to teach myself, kind of thing. And one big thing that I learned on Thanksgiving was that I'm scared of men. Well, not anymore, because it was like a wake up call for me, right? Um, like I said, I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about myself. I'm originally from Jersey. My real name is Kalia. Okay, Kalia with two Y's. I'm from Jersey. I moved out of Jersey when I was 18, so right after I graduated high school. Because if you're from Jersey, if you're from New York, if you're from up north, like, you can get stuck there, kind of thing. It's like, people who are not from New York, not from Jersey, they are excited, like, oh my gosh, I want to see the city, and New York is so amazing. And it's just like, no. For those who are native there, you just like, I got to get out. I got to go. Okay, so that was the energy I was in when I was 18. And I just looked around and was just like, if I stay here, I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm not going to like it. I just knew that I wasn't supposed to be there. So when I went to college at Dell State University in Delaware. It's HBCU. I went to college there for about a year, and I met someone, right? I met a person that I was in a relationship with for going on 5 years. A really long time, okay? And this was when my spiritual awakening really, really freaking began, right? I've been on this spiritual journey for about 6 years now. So, that point in college, after I met this person, it was like it triggered something, right? Now, uh, this person that I was with, it was a great relationship, right? It started out very honeymoon phase ish kind of thing. You know how it is when you're just like tied to the hip to someone and you just really feel like they are your true soulmate and everything like that. I was like in that mindset. I'm like very much a hopeless romantic. I'm a Sagittarius. Like, I romanticize everything in my fucking mind, okay? When I meet you, I already see wedding bells. I already see our children and some more shit, okay? So I'm thinking like this is going to be my end all be all person, but certain things happened and transpired to where I realized that I was in a situation that was, one, going to help me grow, and one, going to change my perception on relationships, on women, on men, on what it is to be in a stable, grounded foundation and shit like that. This relationship like really forced me into my awakening, quite literally. So, I fell in love. I was young or whatever, and I ended up moving to the DMV with this person, right? And things kept going from that point on. We went through our own shit, whatever, and now come, I know I'm skipping past a whole 4 or 5 years of shit, y'all, but I just want to try to keep this short. And I will probably make another video separately, going into detail, but comes now 2020, right? 2020 hits, right? The pandemic, all of this shit, and it's just like everything starts to crumble down, literally, like, my stability, I started losing my fucking mind. I went into like a really deep, deep, deep depression, like really bad. I started picking up like toxic addictions and shit. It was just really, really fucking bad. Like, this was me going through my dark night of the soul. And this was the point where I reached, and I was asking God, like, what am I doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, what am I doing? Who am I? Where am I going? Like, what is my purpose? Like, why am I here? And I had those nights where I was just really broken, and some nights I didn't want to live anymore, and a lot of people don't know that because I don't like being a burden on anyone. I don't like telling people my issues, my problems, because I always try to be the light in the room. I always try to uplift people, so I just kind of remove myself. I isolate myself naturally, and during that time, I did feel very isolated. I didn't want to be around my family. I started cutting off certain friends and shit like that. It was just a time of shedding, of shedding skin and my whole reality coming down because I was so fixated on having a perfect life. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people who looked at this relationship I was in, they looked up to us. They was like, oh my God, y'all are young. Y'all doing a damn thing. Y'all moving up in higher places, making money, doing a damn thing kind of thing. People admired the relationship that I was in. It was like couples goals or whatever. But I realized very soon, like when 2020 hit, that I wasn't happy anymore. I wasn't happy. And it wasn't until let me see. It wasn't until maybe winter of 2020 where I started getting into like tarot readings and stuff like that. I actually went to a psychic for the first time in my life because I was having a mental breakdown, literally banging my head on the steering wheel, crying like I was having a breakdown. And I said, God, I need answers now. I need answers because I don't know what I'm doing with my life right now. I felt so alone. I felt so lost. I felt angry because I didn't know who I was. I didn't know where to go, and the people around me didn't really have the answers that I needed or what I thought I needed, So I went to a psychic and she told me a few things about my family history and stuff like that. And I went to the psychic and I was like, realizing that I have certain abilities that this psychic don't even have. You know what I'm saying? Like I was telling her shit about me. You know what I'm saying? It was shocking her. Like I was telling her about my childhood and how when I was a child I would see things, I would hear spirits, and I've been through a lot of paranormal shit just growing up. And I lived in a household, I came up very religious, right? My grandmother was very, very, very religious, strict, like she was the one ready to pull out the Bible. You know what I'm saying? Anytime you question her on some shit or argue her on some shit, she throwing scriptures in your face kind of thing. So I grew up like that. Like my childhood books and storybooks were Bible stories kind of thing. Like I was told to get on my knees every night and pray. I was 3 years old learning the Lord's Prayer and shit like that. So, and it was needed for me during that time as well. I'm sorry if this is all over the place, y'all. It's just, I'm seeing certain images in my mind that's bringing me back. But when I was 3, 4 years old, I would see shit in the dark, not knowing that there's spirits, and, you're at that age. Everyone's like, oh, you're young. You're just afraid of the dark. I'm like, no, I'm really seeing shit. Okay. So that time in my life where my grandmother was teaching me the Lord's Prayer and things like that, it's like I knew to call on Archangel Michael at that age. I was so young and all I knew was Archangel Michael. It was like nothing else stuck but Archangel Michael. So those times where I would see those demonic things in the dark, and like I was literally like 5, 6 years old, and I had a conversation with the devil, or what I thought was the devil, standing in my goddamn room. And I had a dream when I was young that the devil told me he was going to get me, and now looking back at that, I realized there was a higher calling on my life, right? The devil sees your calling just like God does. Okay. And I have a whole nother thing. It's so much that I've learned in this 6 years of being on my spiritual journey. So I'm going to make a list and we're going to just have different videos about it, because I have a whole nother conversation in regards to heaven and hell and demons and angels and stuff like that. Okay, we're going to get into that. But along this journey, me just reflecting, looking back, I'm telling this psychic, like, I've been through some shit. Okay, but now I'm at a point in my life where I don't know what I'm doing, and she gave me some insight, and it felt like every time that I came back to this psychic, I healed a little bit more. But also every time I came back to this psychic, I was getting scammed. Okay, because it went from $100 reading to, we need $17,000 in order to get rid of this root in your family. I'm like, what? What? And she made it seem like I was going to die if I didn't come to her with $17,000 or precious golds or some shit so that she could do this healing work. And I'm like, no, no, ma'am, I'm okay. So after that, right, I went in, like you guys are watching readings and pick a cards and stuff like that. And I came across spiritual Sag. I didn't even mean to say spiritual Sag. Wow. Okay, I guess they got us going there. I was going to say Star Girl, the practical witch, okay? But she was the person that, kind of threw me into the tarot community or whatever when I was going through this dark night of the soul, and I had a lot of breakdowns. But spiritual Sag, if you don't know who she is, please go watch her channel, yo. Like, I literally, I don't know how much y'all know about the 6D and telepathic communication and stuff like that, or astral projection, but I've had so many astral projection, out of body experiences, telepathic communication moments where it's me and her having conversations, and I'm like, is this woman, do I connect with her in some way? Is my story going to be similar? Like, what is the significance around why I feel such a strong connection to spiritual Sag? And you guys, if you go and you get to know her channel and you get to know her as a person through her channel, you can feel the love that radiates from her heart. And she reminds me so much of my grandmother growing up. Like, the way that she expresses herself, the way that she gets these messages out, very cutthroat, straight to the point, but it's still very nurturing, very loving. You know that everything that comes out of her mouth is from a pure loving space, even if it's something you don't want to fucking hear. You know what I'm saying? So I be telling my best friend about it, and I'm just like, I don't know why I fucking have this connection with spiritual Sag. And like I said, I didn't even mean to say her name just now, but I did. So I guess that's where the angels want me to go with this. But I started watching spiritual Sag maybe about a year ago, a little less than a year ago, and she's kind of guided me through this journey. And during the time where I was realizing I wasn't happy in this relationship, I know this video is all over the place, I'm sorry, but during the time that I realized I wasn't happy in this relationship was the time that I came across spiritual Sag, right? And this was also the time where I was getting into doing my own readings. I had bought my first deck. Me and my best friend, we had got the same Rider-Waite deck, the yellow box, everything. We was hyped, okay? We was doing personal readings for each other, going back and forth on FaceTime, doing readings, and I was doubting myself so much. I'm like, is this really where I'm going with this right now? Like, I was told growing up that I was going to be condemned to hell for, even going to see a psychic. You know what I'm saying? But I couldn't ignore the gifts that I had. I couldn't ignore what the fuck I was seeing at 3, 4, 5 years old. Like, you know what I'm saying? If I was going to be condemned to hell, why would God give me these gifts? This is what I was questioning for so long, and I was doing research. I was looking, Googling shit. I was on YouTube going down a deep fucking rabbit hole. I was always at Barnes and Noble getting books, reading, and more reading, okay? Like, I got deep into this spiritual shit. Okay, so when I got to the point where I started actually doing my own readings and doing readings for other people, that's when it started to hit. And this was when spiritual Sag came in, and I heard her story, her own personal story, and it really resonated with me. And it was so similar, outside of the fact that I don't have kids. I don't have any kids. I do want kids, but God's plan, okay? But she impacted me so much in my own personal journey, especially 2021. This year has been crazy, yo. Like, I went through a really, really bad breakup. I went through a dark night of the soul probably about 3 times over. In the midst of this, I'm still trying to keep my stability together, keep my head on straight, balance out connections in my family and with people around me, and make sure that I'm grounded within myself. It was definitely a lot around self-love, self-care this year, and connecting with my inner child. Okay, so I'm gonna leave that there, but just a shout out to spiritual Sag. I love you so much, and you've impacted me and my own personal journey and accepting who it is that I am, accepting myself. For so long I was scared to say that I'm a medium. I am. I always have been since I came out the womb. I've been a medium. And, like I said, I came up in a household that was very religious. I had a grandmother, I would tell her about these spirits and stuff. And this is now me grown, right? I'm telling her, I have freaking dead people coming to me. You know what I'm saying? And she's like, well, be careful. You don't want the devil to show up as, an angel of light, and don't get into that, da, 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 like trying to put fear in my heart. I was never scared of it. I was just always kind of curious, like, why me? Like, why are y'all coming to me? What is it about me? Okay. So when I realized, like, this is your calling, not, what is that saying? They're like, many are called, but not many are chosen, or something. A lot are called, but few are chosen, kind of thing. So I felt like I kind of fell into that category. Like, a lot of people are called, but not everyone is chosen to prophesy. Not everyone is chosen to, I guess, be at God's right side, on the throne, kind of thing, and be like a direct dial-up. I had to realize I had a direct dial-up with God. If I asked for some shit, he would show me. I could be talking. I have conversations with God all the time. And when I say God, I'm talking about the God that I've gotten to know, okay? You have to develop your own personal relationship with God. Do not allow religion or what somebody else deems correct, politically correct, to taint your view of who it is that you worship, who it is. Listen, we only have one God, okay? But God has a way of getting a message across in multiple different ways. God speaks multiple different languages, will show up in different forms in your life to put you on this path of getting to know him personally, right? We have religion, yes, but religion is like reading a book. You know what I'm saying? You have hundreds and hundreds, thousands and thousands of books on the same subject. Okay, but the point is, it don't matter what book you pick up, as long as you're getting the point of it all, as long as you got the message, that's all that fucking matters. Okay, but just realize that every book that you picked up, the author was the same. The author is God. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Each book may have a different cover to it, right? It may have a different language to it, but the damn author stays the same and the message is the same, right? These different religions, the message is repetitive. Okay, it's just a different culture behind it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just a different way of how we worship and how we, love God, how we get to know ourselves. These religions are put in place for us to really get to know ourselves and get to know God in a sense. But at the end of the day, God is love. Okay, and that's why I've attached to spirituality, because it's not putting God in a box. That never made sense to me. Ever since I was a child, I'm like, if God is so big and grand and omnipotent, why do we put him in this little book? Why do we put him in this little Bible? There has to be more to him than just these chapters of this book that ends at Revelations and tells me that I'm going to fucking die and be doomed to hell if I'm not perfect. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had to realize, like, how judgmental, the Christian community is. You know what I'm saying? And this is not to offend anyone, but it's just like, a lot of shit kind of contradicted itself when it came to religion and what it was that the message was relaying in the Bible. I think that we kind of misconstrue what the meaning is, and what the purpose is of the Bible, kind of thing. You have to read between the lines. You cannot take what the Bible says literally, because God is not a literal God, okay? God, like I said, shows up in many forms. Okay, you're not just going to understand God by just reading one sentence, kind of thing. Confirmation just popped up. Look at my phone buzzing. You're not just going to understand him by just reading one line. Okay, you have to get to know him on a spiritual level. It's no book in the world that can describe the love that God has for you. Okay, and I had a moment in my life, I had several moments in my life where I was able to experience the true love of God. And I was like, God has to be real. The very fact that I'm breathing in this moment, God has to be real. Okay, it may not be the God that my Christian grandmother brought me up on. It may not be the God who my Muslim brother is brought up on. It may not be the God who, my Haitian sister worship is or whatever. It's like you have to build your own relationship with God, point blank, period. Okay, when you develop your own relationship with God, when you get to know God on a personal level, you realize that you are God and God is you. Okay, this is why I incline people have conversations out loud with yourself, because when you this was another thing. When I was brought up, my grandma used to say, don't talk to people who talk to themselves. You know what I'm saying? They're crazy, kind of thing. Like, that was really like what she used to say. And I'm like, well, am I crazy for talking to God now? Like, because I'm by myself a lot. I enjoy my alone time. It's because I can have these conversations with God, and God will speak back to me. You know what I'm saying? But growing up, it was told you was crazy as fuck for talking to yourself. No. I incline people, talk to yourself, because that is when you are talking to God. Okay? And you will recognize when it's God's voice and when it's not your ego talking or some other shit attached to you. You will know when it is God speaking to you, okay? And the way that God allowed me to get to know him was through his sense of humor, right? You have to think of us, right? If God created us and we have all these different emotions, right? We frustrated, we get mad, we moody, we sad, we cry, we laugh at shit probably we shouldn't be fucking laughing at. You know what I'm saying? Like, God is the same way. Where do you think we get that from? Okay, so God would do funny things and put me in funny coincidences to let me know that he heard my prayer, or he heard what it was that I asked for, and he showed up and showed me. So I would kind of play with that a little bit, right? I would be like, okay, well, if this is going to happen, then I want to see a pink car today. Right? So I would say, all right, God, if this is what I'm really feeling and this is what I'm really hearing and this is where I'm supposed to be going, show me some outrageous shit. Okay? Like, so show me some shit that I wouldn't normally see on a normal day. And I just go out and lo and behold, I see a motherfucking pink magenta car. And I'm like, this has to be a joke, right? You got to be playing with me, right? So I would do little stuff like that just to connect with God, just to like allow him into my world, allow him into my heart, the same way that he has allowed me into his, okay? So you will get to know God in your own way. The same with angels, okay? Angels will communicate to you the best way they know how, the best way that they know it will get through to you, okay? I've had conversations with Archangel Michael. And now, another fun fact about me, I like to smoke. I smoke marijuana. I smoke weed. I love it, okay? I've always loved it. It is a part of who I am. I'm taking a little break right now, because my spirit guide said I need to chill out. But I would have smoke sessions by myself, and Archangel Michael would be right there with me. And I tell you, this angel would speak to me like one of my friends. Like, and it would be so funny. It would be like, it was a eye-opening moment for me when I was like, it's amazing. It's truly freaking amazing how much an entity like that can love you to the point where they can come downsize how big, how powerful they are, just to speak to you on a level that you understand. That's almost like kneeling down on your knee to meet eye level with a toddler or a child. You know what I'm saying? You know that they're not going to comprehend what it is that you're saying until you meet them on eye level. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to take you serious until you meet them on eye level. So a lot of these deep conversations I would have with myself, it felt like my angels, God, my spirit guides were communicating with me in a way that I would understand. Right? And this is why they say knowledge is power. The more you know, the easier it is for the angels, the spirit guides, to communicate with you. And that's really all that mediumship is, psychic intuition is. If you ever wanted to kind of look into the world, look into the eyes of a psychic, that's what's happening. When I say I'm channeling, that is what's happening, right? They take experiences, things that I've been through, or people that I know, or things that I've seen, and they show me in images. They show me in images, and they speak to me, in a way that I understand, that I can then convey to you. Okay, so example, I don't know, I'm gonna give you an example. Okay, so I think it was Libra's reading. I had started it, but it cut off. So this part of the clip wasn't in Libra's reading. But I had started the reading and I was just like, let me see what I could see. Instantly they showed me a snowball, right? They showed me some like kids having a snowball fight, right? And sometimes you had just have that one kid that's just really fucking sensitive. They get hit with the snowball and they take it seriously and it turns into like a little fight. So that was what they showed me. They showed me that because they know that I've experienced that in some way. I've seen that play out in my life in some way, shape, or form. A snowball fight that turns into a real fight. So me being able to see that and understand the meaning behind it, I then was able to say, okay, Libra, this is something playful that's going to begin playful, like a joke, right? That has some kind of truth behind it. And it's going to get you on guard. It's going to make you defensive. It's going to make you want to stand up and fight for yourself or fight for your partner, whatever the joke was about. It's something playful gone serious. Okay. So that's just an example of what I'm talking about when I say the angels, your spirit guides, God will use different experiences, things that you know personally to help you kind of break down what it is that you need to know in that moment. So that's the thing. It's just following your intuition, right? It's just realizing that what it is that you're seeing in your third eye is real. You know what I'm saying? It's not about what you see with your physical eye. It's what you're seeing in the eye that you can't fucking see. Okay. Okay. So that's clairvoyance, right? So I'm very clairvoyant. I'm very clairaudient. Okay. I hear angels and spirit guides all the time. I hear God all the time. Sometimes I hear conversations with people I don't even know. You know what I'm saying? I could walk in a room and I start hearing a conversation, but they're the thoughts of the people around me, right? Or sometimes I'm minding my goddamn business and I'm hearing a whole conversation play out. And I realize, oh, it's my damn spirit guides arguing. Okay. So it's just stuff like that. Like the deeper you get into your intuition, the deeper the relationship between you and God grows, he exposes you to the natural gifts that we all have. Right. But what I was saying was a lot of people are called. We are all called, but very few are chosen. Okay. And I'm grateful to say that I'm one of those chosen people. And this is why I kind of wanted to bring my story to you guys a little bit. And I know I didn't get too into detail about it, but I will it probably in another video because it is very, very heavy. It's very, very heavy. And I wanted to keep this video kind of lighthearted. But I just want to let you know, like, I really, really appreciate you guys. Like, it's just as uplifting for me to do this as it is uplifting for you to hear it. Okay. So this is why I love feedback. Okay. I love when you guys comment and let me know what it is that you are going through or what it is that you want to hear or whatever. I had someone comment about me wanting to do a video on Britney Spears. I saw that comment and I thought it was kind of a cool idea because I'm a medium and I pick up on things as well. For a short period of time I was doing like murders, like unsolved crimes and murders and shit like that. Cause I pick up on shit like that. Like I'll be seeing a lot of dark shit sometimes. And I see a lot of good shit sometimes. And for a long time I used to ask God, like, why am I seeing these visions? It used to really be graphic. And I would be like, what am I supposed to do with this? And the whole time he's telling me like, Kalia, get on YouTube, record. You know what I'm saying? Like, put the message out there. You're never going to know unless you try. Okay, so that was pretty much what the song lyrics for Ways. I'm going to read the lyrics to you guys, all right? I wrote it down. Janae Aiko Ways. The lyrics are, you better keep going. You better keep going. Everything takes time. You've got to lose your pride. You got to lose your mind. You've got to trust the signs that everything will turn out fine. So why aren't you smiling? Right? So when you're trusting God, you're trusting the universe, you're trusting your angels, ancestors, spirit guides, when you're trusting yourself, you have to put a smile on your face. You have to be grateful in knowing that everything will turn out fine. Okay. Like I could look back at my 19-year-old self and be like, yo, chill out. Like, you really put a lot of pressure on yourself. You really stress yourself out. Like, because I promise you, in about 5 years, you're going to look back and be like, why was I tripping? You know what I'm saying? Why was I tripping? Or you're going to look back and be like, I'm so glad I did take that risk, right? I didn't know what I was doing when I left home, and I moved to the DMV. Like, I had never been to DC and Virginia and all. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I just followed my intuition. And this was before my whole awakening even truly began. I knew that something was pulling me in a different direction. And a lot of you guys, I've been telling you, you have to release the past in order to allow something new and something better to come in. You have to do the shit that you're afraid to do. Okay? Like, because behind that fear is God. Behind that fear is God. Behind that fear is a higher version of yourself waiting for you to step up into your higher power. Okay, so I've been through that so many times. Like, and that's what I'm saying. I'm only 23. I'll be 24 tomorrow. And I've experienced so much, and it's like a lot of shit that my own family doesn't even know. It's a lot of shit that I've kept to myself. It's a lot of shit that I keep just between me and God. And I'm okay with that. I've gone through a lot as far as like relationships go and friendships. And, when I was growing up in school, I got bullied a lot. It played a lot on my self-esteem. I grew up like with a slight case of like body dysmorphia because I had very judgmental female figures in my life who, quite honestly, when I think back on it, were very insecure. Even though they came off as these very strong, confident, masculine energy like women, they were like the women who didn't take shit, very independent. I don't need a man for nothing. They dressed well, they carried themselves well. They could cook, they could clean, they could hold a household down. Like, those are the women that I came up around. But I had to realize these women were acting off of survival, right? And I had to get to a very low point in my life where I realized everything that I was doing was to survive. It wasn't because I was happy. It wasn't because I was passionate about it. It wasn't because I really, really loved myself or loved the people that I was around or with. It was for survival, and when I dropped my pride and when I dropped my ego and I realized that ego was leading my life, that's when everything started crumbling. That's when everything started falling apart. And a lot of times we like to hold on to those things. We hold tightly onto those things that really don't matter. They mattered to us at one point because it was attached to ego. You know what I'm saying? But you have to release the superficial shit. Like I said, I was chasing a perfect life. I was so young, and in my mind, I was like, I have to have these things, and that's why I like stray away from social media a lot of the times, because you see so many like young entrepreneurs and these famous young superstars, and you're just like, you instantly start judging yourself. You instantly start comparing yourself to people. And you have to realize, just because what you see on social media is fake. Okay, it's superficial as fuck. People post what they want to post. People show you what they want you to see. But behind closed doors, behind the scenes, a lot of those people are going through deep depression. A lot of those people are not happy with what they have. It's no amount of money that could bring you the happiness that you're seeking, unless you find it within yourself first. Okay, and you find that when you find that happiness, when you start loving on yourself, that you don't even have to work as hard as you used to obtain the things that you want. You instantly just start manifesting what you want naturally, right? And I had to learn that. Like, I literally taught myself how to manifest what it is that I want just by thinking it, just by speaking it, just by writing it. Okay, that's another gift that I have, in automatic writing. That's why if you book with me and I say you have the option of me doing a recorded reading, or I can do a written reading for you, right? In the written reading, it's your angels, your ancestors, your spirit guides using me as a vessel to write out whatever it is that you need to receive in that moment, right? So it's me channeling through writing. I have a lot of channeled messages in this journal from God. These are the prophetic messages that I'm going to be releasing very soon. It's almost like God takes my pen and is writing for me. Like, I space out and God is writing for me. Okay, when I go back and I reread what it is that I wrote, I'm like, wow, what? Like, I'd be like, oh my God. Like, it's so shocking to me, because It's like in that moment, I don't even know what it is that I'm writing. I don't realize the story that's being told, right? So sometimes I do enjoy doing the written readings more than the videos or whatever, because I feel like it's it's like allowing you to truly connect with the people on the other side who's been trying to communicate with you, right? It's no longer me taking my own experiences. It's literally coming from source when I write, when I do automatic writing, when I do psychic writing. Okay, so if you ever want to book a reading with me, I suggest go ahead and get the written reading, if you don't want a video or an audio. Okay, but I'm gonna try to wrap this up because it's getting long. We have 40 minutes. But the gist of this message, right, today, the gist of me coming on here and sharing little bits and pieces of who I am and my story, was just keep going. That's the message that I'm telling you. Just keep going. You know what I'm saying? Even if you don't know where you're going, as long as you're seeking God, as long as you're seeking answers, as long as you're seeking that wisdom, keep learning. Keep learning. Never stop learning. You know what I'm saying? Step outside of your comfort zone. Step outside of the box. Try something new. You never know where you're being led. You never know where your calling is leading you. You never know where your purpose is unless you try new shit. Okay? Try shit that people around you are scared to do. Try shit that you're scared to do. Okay? You never know. Right? I was fucking scared as fuck to get on here and make videos and do all of this, right? As a child, I was antisocial. I was very shy. I was very introverted. Like I said, I got bullied as a child growing up. Like all of my childhood, I got bullied in school, literally. And that had me put myself in a corner. That had me kind of like shy away. Like naturally as a child, when I was little, like I was like a fucking firecracker. I was like a tomboy, like you couldn't shut me up. You couldn't sit me down. Like I was just like fidgeting, like I had ADHD. Like I was that kind of child. But as I progressed and got older and started getting into school systems and stuff like that, like my spirit just started being broken down because kids are fucking cruel. Kids are cruel as shit, okay? And that's why there's a need to have like a stable home foundation where you can have those vulnerable moments with your kids and, show affection to your kids, allow them to be an outlet, have an open outlet, because you don't know what goes down once you drop them kids off at their school. I'm telling you, it's a lot of shit that your kids probably will never tell you that went down at school. Okay. So I was one of them. All right. And I had lost myself in school and lost myself again in a relationship that I was in for 5 years. I learned a lot from that relationship. There were a lot of great times and then there were bad times. And then there came a moment in time where we just had to go our separate ways. We grew apart, and that's okay. A lot of us, we tend to hold on to what's comfortable, and that was a struggle for me. But me getting on this spiritual path, me getting on this spiritual journey and getting to know God allowed me to listen to my intuition more. And when God said it's time to end this, I listened, I obeyed. And of course things start to crumble, your world, the illusions start to break down, and it just seems like, fuck, I should have just stayed where the fuck I was at. Well, why did I make the decision to release this person or release this thing if it was going to bring me more trouble than the trouble that I was already in, kind of thing. But again, the foundation has to be broken down in order for God to build you back up, right? 2021 was a year that I truly found myself again. You can get lost in a relationship that long and that deep. You know what I'm saying? So I had to find myself again. And when I found myself again, I found my purpose. I found my happiness. I found what it was that really brings me joy, and now I love myself so fucking much. I love myself so fucking much. Probably the most I have my entire life. You know what I'm saying? So I'm happy, and I'm happy to be on here and able to share my story with you guys. I'm happy to be on here and sharing my gifts with you guys. Like I said, for a long time, I couldn't even bring myself to start this YouTube channel, right? I couldn't even bring myself to even like take pictures at some point, because I was so self-conscious. And like I said, I had dealt with a lot of just mental shit, from my childhood, from, the household that I grew up in, and just I self-sabotage myself out of a lot of opportunities. And like I said, once I went through that shedding, once I went through that dark night of the soul, and I asked God, like, who am I? He started to show me, and he gave me instruction. He gave me directions. He knew when a certain time, a place, things were going to happen in a specific order for me to then come in and be on this path of revival. This is not my survival. This is my revival. Okay. So for those of you who deal with social anxiety and depression, and you're learning how to figure your life out, just know that you're not alone. There's so many people, even on social media, I'm telling you, like, who are experiencing the same thing. Okay. We all have our shit. Don't ever look at one person and think that they have the perfect life, because that is a lie. That is a fucking lie. Okay. Everyone goes through their shit. Okay. And there's a lot that you can kind of agree on. It's a lot that we agree to disagree on. There's a lot that we compromise when it comes to like our own opinions and what it is that we feel is right for us, because we try to please other people. I was a people pleaser. When I stopped being a people pleaser and I started pleasing Kalia, that's when things started manifesting for me. Okay, because you're allowing God, you're surrendering to God, you're putting God first. You taking your decisions, everything to God, to your angels, to your ancestors. They're not just with you just because. They're not just sit there and watch you look pretty. No. They're there waiting for you to ask them for assistance. Okay, so this is why I say have those conversations out loud with yourself, because you're never alone. I don't care who tells you you look crazy as fuck. I'm sitting in this car on this damn video with you, and it's probably people looking at me like I'm fucking crazy, but I do not care, because I know I'm talking to somebody, right? There's no one physical. Y'all not sitting in this car with me, but I know I'm talking to someone, right? I know this is hitting home for someone. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing this for a greater purpose outside of myself. Right? And the same thing applies with your angels and ancestors. You can't see them physically sitting in a car with you, sitting in that room with you while you're crying, but they're there with you. I promise you, it's so much love surrounding you, and they're ready to come and give you the guidance that you need. Okay. But the more you allow yourself to heal, cry, 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 cry. Okay. I used to be someone, I was afraid to cry. I probably cried once a year. Once a fucking year. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that was only like if there was like a death in the family or some shit like that. Like, I hated crying. I hated being vulnerable. I never wanted anyone to see my emotions, to see my vulnerable side ever. And I tell you, it ruined me, right? This year, 2021, I probably cried the most I have in my entire life. But each time I cried, it was a weight lifted off of me, like off of my heart, off of my body. That's another video we're going to get into. Okay. We're going to get into another video about, weight loss, weight gain, like, body image and things like that. Y'all, I'm going to make a list. I'm going to make a list tonight of the different topics and things that I'm going to bring to you guys, bring to your attention. And we're going to talk about it. Okay. Cause I've been through so much, everything you could possibly imagine. I've probably been through it in some way, shape, or form. Maybe not to the worst magnitude, but I've experienced it in my own way. Okay, and I want to share that with you guys, because this is a healing journey for me too. I'm not just on here giving y'all psychic readings. I'm on here healing. I'm on here on this journey with you guys. Okay, we're all on this spiritual journey together. I don't care if you still religious and you still holding true to that Bible. Okay, I give it a couple of years. Your mindset is going to change. Okay. Cause we evolving, we growing, we going through an ascension period. Okay. We're in the age of Aquarius. We are ascending. Okay. So if you've been stuck in this mold, you've been stuck and tied to this daggone religion and shit, you might be in for a rude awakening. Okay. You might just be forced into an awakening, because at this point, God is not waiting for nobody. God is not waiting. Okay. He's not waiting for you to wake up anymore. All right. So make wise decisions, y'all. Make wise decisions. Talk to yourself. I know that sounds so crazy, me saying that, but like I was saying, you can't see the angels around you. You can't see, for those of you who are not psychic or mediums, or you haven't stepped into your gifts just yet, You can't see these beautiful beings around you who are inspiring, who are pushing you. Like I said this morning, I heard my angel saying, Kalia, you got to keep going. You have to keep releasing this content. You have to keep doing this because people need it. They need you. They need your voice. They need your story. Okay. And like I said, I know this video is probably all over the place. But I promise the next one is probably going to be a little more organized. I'm going to have to split this up into different videos and break them down into different topics. Okay, so you guys can kind of understand and get a clearer understanding of not just who I am, but how it can resonate, resonate in your life. Okay, that's another thing that happens. If y'all ever see me like burp or anything like that in the middle of a reading, they call those spiritual burps. They're usually like a form of confirmation when you're channeling and shit like that. Like, as a medium, as a psychic, my body goes through different motions while I'm channeling. Like, it's like Kalia is sitting in the waiting room while the spirit guides, while the angels, while God is here presenting and talking to you guys. Okay, so it's like I be listening to myself. I be watching myself give these messages to you, but it's like I'm the vessel. Okay, it's like the angels, these spirit guides come through me, your passed on loved ones. Sometimes I have readings where the deceased will come through and speak to you. Okay, so I just encourage you guys, if you're ever watching one of my videos, make sure you watch the whole video because you never know what's gonna come through. I just did a video last night. I was bored as fuck. I was in my bed. I was like, I can't sleep. I'm gonna do a reading, and multiple messages came out. You know, it was just like one thing after the next. And I told you guys in that video, when I get like this, you never know when your story is going to pop up. Right? So, I don't know. That's just a little about me, about what it's like being who I am. I guess I've truly accepted myself now, and I'm happy to share it with the world and finally feel like I'm stepping into my true authentic self, and I feel amazing. I feel the strongest I've ever been. I feel the most healed I've ever been. I feel the most beautiful I've ever been, and I just love it here. I love it here, and I'm so happy that I'm inspiring people, and I can't wait to just, keep going. We just gonna keep going and keep growing. The channel is gonna keep growing, and I'm looking forward to like doing more things with you guys, like getting on the community board and sharing different things and different links and stuff that you guys can learn from. For those of you who are new to this spiritual journey and stuff like that, I'm going to start sharing a lot of wisdom and knowledge and context with you guys that will kind of help you, lead you in the right direction. Because I know on YouTube you can kind of go down a really dark rabbit hole sometimes, and it gets scary. It gets fucking scary sometimes. So hopefully these videos will give you some sense of direction. And yeah, I'm going to leave it there, you guys, before this video gets too long. Stay tuned for the next couple videos, because those are going to be the prophetic messages from God, from Source, that the collective, that he wants the world to know. Okay, so I love you guys. Comment down below if this resonated with you. If you want a personal reading, check the description box. You guys can email me. You email me, let me know what you want. I will send you a price list. And also, if you are feeling good, you're feeling a little gift giving, whatever, you can donate to the channel. My birthday's coming up. My birthday is tomorrow. You can donate to the channel. My Cash App is in the description box as well. Okay, so I love you guys. I will see you in the next one. Bye.